AJ. I've grown this lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage, but haters say Dre fell off. My last album was The Chronic. They wanna know if he still got it. They say rap's changed, they wanna know how I feel about it.
We're gonna set it off just like that. Energy, a very important factor when you're dealing with life. Your energy level will determine what you output. I like to put out information relevant to improving the world, improving what's going on in our world and in our society. Before I even get started, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you everyone who's supporting the Free World Order. Our goal is to raise $1 billion in order to build the first resource-based city. If you don't know what a resource-based economy is, go to thevenusproject.com and just delve into the information on that website. Jacques Fresco, Roxanne Meadows are the individuals behind the Venus Project. Jacques Fresco actually passed away earlier this year on my birthday, May 18th, 2017. He was 101 years old, and he basically put in over 78 years of work into redesigning society so that every human being on the planet could benefit from the intelligent management of the resources of our planet versus what we have now. Right now, what we have is a money-based society. And it has worked to some degree. A lot of people would attribute the advancement in technology to the fact that we have a monetary system and to the capitalistic system that, we're using. That's not it. It's humanity. It's human beings. We are constantly evolving. All of that would have taken place without the use of money or barter or exchange or trade. The concept of using the earth's resources for the enjoyment, for the use of every person on the planet, there really should be no other thought process when it comes to those of us that are in our right minds who want to live a good life when we come to this earth and see everyone else live a good life. You have to really be a selfish person to think that the systems that we're using right now, like capitalism and the monetary system, which is basically debt-based money being used to pay for goods and services in the economy, but the money is moving in one direction. It's moving up like a pyramid. And the majority of people are at the bottom of the pyramid holding the entire system up. So we're down here on the bottom holding up the system, and there's only a few people up at the top controlling the system, the creators of the system. So they're the primary ones who benefit from the way that the system is set up. And anyone else that moves up from the bottom up to the top either does it through corruption or does it by manipulating the system somehow in order to make their way through the system with the permission of the creators, of course, because you don't do anything without people at the top allowing you to in this system. Regardless of how you want to look at it, that's what it is. You can't even make your way to a certain financial level without existing people that run the system saying that it's okay for that person to do that, because they control everything through media. They control everything through the way that information flows, through our food, through the air water, anything you can think of where people exist in groups, there is a level of control in that area, regardless of who it is. It doesn't make a difference who it is. They're controlling that area through the food. And this is all operating through logistics. Just think about how food is transported from plants to the supermarket. How does food move across the country and across the world? Who are the people that are watching over the way that food is moved across the world? And I know I'm just going straight into different things, but really what I wanted to talk about in this video is what was it that I wanted to talk about? I forgot now. I just started going off, and I apologize for that. But anyway, once again, I want to thank all of you who are supporting the Free World Order. As I mentioned, our goal is to raise $1 billion. That's going to be the first goal in order to build the first city that will operate without money. If you look at the advancement in technology today, people are scared of automation. Maybe that's what I'll talk about in this video. Automation, or let me ask a question more so. Is automation a good thing or a bad thing in this system? That'll be the title of the video. Is automation a good or bad thing in this system? The answer to that is simple. Automation is a bad thing. You know why? Because in this system, automation replaces jobs. And a job is the only means, aside from a business or a welfare or entitlement program, you know, some type of disability income or income from public assistance. If you're not getting one of those two things, or if you're not retired or you're not serving in the military, you either have a job or you have a business or you're unemployed. And in another video, I'm going to go into those numbers because the numbers are very high. Just in the United States alone, I know that there's at least about 42 million people that don't have a job, and they're not retired, and they don't have a business. So they're basically people that are unemployed. They can't find a job. And for you to think that everyone is able to have a job in this system, you would be fooled, and you really would be naive, because this system is not capable of providing everyone with a job. There's not enough jobs. And automation is decreasing the number in the thousands, because you can literally replace thousands of jobs with robots and with computerized automation. And that's a detrimental thing in this system, because this system needs people to work in order to generate an income for themselves so that they can spend money in the economy. That purchasing power is what keeps the entire system running like an engine. If people don't buy things that are produced, then the system stops. So it's a necessity. This is the whole basis of capitalism. You have capitalists, which are people that use money to manufacture and produce something, or to operate or run some type of business that people will spend money on whatever that product or service is that is being produced. But where do capitalists get money from? If they don't get it from their own personal savings, then they're getting it from the banks. So the banks are lending the money. This is what keeps the whole credit and debt cycle continuing on. When you involve the banks, which by default has to happen because people don't have enough purchasing power over time in order to buy goods and services. And this is what they, refer to as cycles in the economy, economic cycles. It's all bullshit. I talk about things because I'm knowledgeable about them, but I'm really trying to spark your thoughts, those of you out there that don't have a clue what's really going on, just to think about the system from the perspective of the way that a child would see things. How do children see things? When children look at things, they always ask, well, things like this. For example, I like this car and he likes that car over there. So why can't we all have a car? They're not looking at anything else as far as what goes into being able to have a car. It's just a simple question. Why can't we all have a car? Why can't we all drive whatever we want to drive? So whatever you want to drive, you drive. Whatever I want to drive, I drive. Now, when it comes to the actual real life scenario of that, now you have to explain things to children like, well, in order to get that car, you need money. Well, how do I get money? You have to get a job that pays you enough money to afford that car. What do you mean? Well, you need enough money to buy the car that you like. The car that you like costs $40,000. So you have to make enough money to be able to buy that car. Well, how do I make enough money? Oh, well, go to school, get your college education, and more than likely you'll be able to make more money when you get a job. Okay. But I forgot to tell you, it costs $75,000 for you to pay for college. Well, where am I going to get that money from? You see what I'm saying? And it just becomes a complicated bubble of confusion. And this is grown folks that have to deal with these questions. The same way a child would ask the simplest question. When you're an adult, you ask the same questions and there's no answers for it. Because the system does not make sense. We live on a planet, and you guys hold on, I'm about to take a parking space. Hold on. All right, got a good parking space. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. But anyway, so I really lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about last. But regardless of what, bottom line is that the system that we're using, which relies on your ability to work on a job in order to generate income, in order to do basic things like eat and pay for a place to live. That is a ridiculous notion because human beings are all interconnected, regardless of what your color, your race, or your culture is. All human beings are the same. Our origin is from the same place. The origin of human beings are from the same place, but we are all individual, free-thinking beings. So this has caused greed and power to blind the people that create systems and things that control other people. The monetary system being the primary one. The money rules the world. Literally, money is controlling the world, and money is not even real. It's not anything that we actually can do something with. Like, it's not a resource, yet it controls the whole world. Isn't that amazing? So it shows you the ingenuity of human beings, but it does not reveal the compassion of human beings, because money is something that also enslaves everyone to a system that's structured with a few people enjoying and reaping all of the rewards and experiencing their heaven on earth right now, while everybody else is really either suffering unnecessarily or kind of somewhere in between, where you're under the impression that you're living a good life, but in reality, you're part of a system that keeps the majority of people forced to survive as a human being. It's like, all right, I understand how the animals are. They're in the wild, where they know that they have certain enemies that they have to stay away from and avoid, because that could mean their life. You see what I'm saying? Human beings, we're the highest intelligent beings, but there's a few of us that are very, very greed and power driven. And that greed and power has created several systems that are not in the best interest of humanity as a whole, where it separates and divides people by color, by culture, and really by their will to either use force to hurt or use force to heal. So it looks like the world is all these different things going on in the world, but it's really very simple. As human beings, we all want the same things. I don't care how evil a person is or how good a person is. Every human being is capable of doing evil and good. But the question is, what do most of us want? What do the majority of us want? Do the majority of us want to live in a system that perpetuates negativity and forces, its power just for the sake of greed and profits? Like, are we going to continue to allow that to happen, or are we going to do something about it? We either want to live harmonious amongst one another. Harmony has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with what you believe in. Living harmonious means to live and let live. But the thing about the world that we're living in is that the world that we're living in is controlled by a system that does not benefit all. That system benefits some, and it only benefits those that are willing to participate in the system and manipulate their way through the system to get a higher level or a higher spot or a higher position in the system. It's just like the idea of sport. In a sport, your objective is to win. But people are blinded by wanting to win by any means. In other words, they'll cheat, they'll lie, they'll do anything to gain the advantage over their opponent in order to win. That's not human nature. That's just the nature of someone that is power thirsty and greedy. It's not human nature. There is no human nature, because the way that you are is really as a result of the environment that you've been exposed to. So we're living in a culture that promotes this type of behavior. Just look at the way that all sports is set up. You want your team to win, and people become so fanatical about it that they physically will fight over a basketball team, a football team. Mind you, some of the players on the team are making so much money. They're living basically in a lifestyle that you'll never experience, but you're fighting over that team because that's the team that you represent or that you have chosen as, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's your team. I want my team to win. And you as a fan are willing to fight other fans over a sport that's totally irrelevant to anything. Like, it's ridiculous. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, so let me end this, man. I didn't mean to be this long-winded. Support us. Get yourself a monthly contribution plan. You can start with as little as $1. That money we're using to raise $1 billion over time in order to build the first resource-based system in an actual city. When you go to thevenusproject.com, you'll see all the concepts and the ideas that Jacques Fresco created during his lifetime. It's not that we're going to use those exact ideas and concepts, but you have to actually look at the overall potential of the way that we can live in a manner that makes sense for us as human beings, for the ecosystem, which includes the animals, the ocean life around us, and the environment. All of that has to have an all-inclusive concern about it. Us, the ecosystem, and the environment. Right now, we're not operating like that. Right now, we're polluting the air. We're polluting our water. We're polluting the oceans. We're fucking up a lot of things as human beings. And you're part of it because you buy things that are contributing to the problem every day. Every day we got to put gas in the car. Those emissions go into the air and pollute the air, the ocean life, our drinking water, all kind of stuff goes on. It's an insufficient system. You guys need to look into resource-based economy. Buckminster Fuller, coincidentally, he talked about the resource-based economy, but he didn't actually have a way to execute the resource-based economy. Jacques Fresco picked up where he left off at. You really need to, these people, they were put here really to just show and to reveal the way that human beings can be living on this planet in a world that makes sense for all of us. There's no reason why they're homeless people. There's no reason why they're people. There's no reason why you have to have a job in order to live. Being able to live a healthy lifestyle, being able to live and enjoy your life should be a right as a human being. You shouldn't have to work for that. You understand what I'm saying? You shouldn't need a job in order to be able to obtain that. And then when you have a job in this system, there's no guarantee that you'll even be able to obtain that. So it's just stress, 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 more stress, more stress, more stress, compounded on top of itself for the majority of people, like 98% of everybody. And the other 2% are the only ones that are living life to the fullest. Everyone else might think that they're living life to the fullest because they got a decent job and they're able to pay their bills, until you miss 2 weeks at work and you fall behind on your bills. The next thing you know, you borrowing money from your credit card to pay your bills. And next thing you know, you get sick and you got to go in the hospital and your insurance doesn't cover your hospital stay. So now you got to go into debt to pay for that. I can go on and on. It just never stops. The system is bullshit. But anyway, let me get off of this. Mark Fuller, Free World Order. You guys check out the Facebook page. The link to support us, to get yourself a monthly contribution plan, will be below this video on Facebook and in the description box on YouTube. All right, I look forward to hearing from you. Comment. Whatever negative shit that you got to say, say it. If you a hater, that's cool. It's all good, man. It's all good. I just want to open up the dialogue and get y'all thinking about things. That's all. That's what my objective is, all right? Mark Fuller, Free World Order. Deuce!